Live from the City of Angels, you are watching Midnight Movie Talk, our Sunday evening spectacular. We are in a super up mood tonight because theatrical is back, baby. I didn't have any hope in Bad Boys 4, but you did, and so did many other moviegoers, as this film popped with $56 million. What a win it was for Bad Boys. Before we get to that, I think it's a bigger win for Will Smith. Before we get to that topic, I want to mention coming up tonight, I'm going to discuss one of my favorite movies of 2024. This is by far the best horror film of the year, and you have never heard of it. We're going to go deep dive on that film coming up tonight, along with another MMT approved critic. So far, I believe we have two. Well, me, of course, so that's three. And we're going to add another name to the list. There's very few, as you guys know, very few talented critics who are not shills. So we're going to get another name and add them to the list tonight. But we do start with our number one story, and that is Bad Boys Ride or Die, $56 million. This is just a little bit behind the last installment, but remember that was after a long break between 2 and 3. This time we're looking at back in 2020 to 2024. It feels like it was yesterday, right? But the COVID years, been 4 years. That film opened right before theaters were shut down, and we were told, don't go to theaters. Everybody you know could die, and the people they know. And some of the people that already died might die again. That's how bad it was. Remember that? We're not doing that again. But when we look at Bad Boys, you're looking at a film that did very well in theaters right before it all shut down. And again, tonight we're looking at just a wonderful number. And listen, I might not love Bad Boys 4. You guys know, go back, look at the reaction stream, watch that. You're going to see that I'm like, listen, it's McDonald's movie making. I called it garbage. But guys, I just want more out of my movies. We'll talk about, you want to see cinema? I got the film for you tonight. We'll discuss shortly. But this is a film that, people want to escape. It's summertime. Let's just go watch a dumb-ass action comedy with lame jokes and big explosions and crocodiles/alligators eating bad guys, right? It's all in there for you. Here's your smorgasbord of garbage, and people eat it up. And so be it. If you liked it, listen, it's fine. I just want to turn you on to better films, but it's okay because it's very good for theatrical, and we are all about that. For those of you who've never watched MMT, listen, let me tell you. This channel's founded on one thing. It is movies in theaters. We don't talk about whatever the hell that Star Wars show. I just saw the trailer before I came on. What the hell even is that? That doesn't even look like entertainment. It looks like it was shot in someone's garage. We don't talk about that. We talk about big screen cinema here on MMT. We're never going to discuss the latest Star Wars show or look, there's another MCU TV show. Let's talk about that. Get some views. Let's be like Soups. Oh my God, that guy. Don't make me do it tonight, guys. I'm in a good mood. I don't want to drag the whole show down and attack shills again. That's what we specialize in, but I'm not going to do it. Look here again, 56 million, 104.6 million globally. And this is not only great for theaters, it's our big topic tonight. Is Will Smith back? Because let me tell you, I had my doubts. You go back to 2022, we all saw the slap. You talk about the top Oscar moments, right? Moments in Oscar history that the Academy would rather forget. Well, they'll never forget that. None of us will. Insanity, right? Goes up, pops Chris Rock right in the face. We all saw it. And at that point, that night, I really was like, that's it for Will Smith. He needs to go into timeout. He needs to go into the middle of, I believe we said that night, go to somewhere in nowhere, Italy, and just disappear, fall off the globe for a while, and come back in 5 years. Well, he didn't. He brought Emancipation in later that fall. Big mistake that Apple even released that film at that time. I think that was hubris from Will Smith. But we needed a refractory period for Will Smith, did we not? I think we can all agree on that. Whether you think the slap was the biggest thing and the most, egregious thing you've ever seen, or it's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, he walked up on national television and slapped the shit out of a guy. That's normal behavior. Okay. If you think like that, that's certainly your prerogative. I would argue that's definitely not the proper behavior, but it doesn't seem to have penalized him. So when we look at this opening, we go directly to what we talked about back on Thursday night going into the weekend. I had concerns people would be scared off by Will Smith. It's less than, a little over 2 years, right, since we had that happen. It didn't do anything to the box office here. I mean, you're looking at a number that basically matches right up with Bad Boys 3 from 4 years ago. And given the state of how things have been theatrically, it is the best case scenario for everybody involved. But when we look at, by the way, if you're joining us on X, welcome to MMT. This is our Sunday night special. And if you want to get involved in the comments, go to YouTube to the Midnight Movie Talk channel, and you will be able to pop them in. Like you see Simeon here. I didn't watch Bad Boys 4 this weekend, but I'm glad it's doing well at the box office. And here's the thing, right? I don't like the film. I don't think it's great by any means. Is it as bad as Beau is Afraid or Poor Things or something like, oh my God, I can't watch this. It's literally get me out of this fucking theater. No, but it's not even fantastic for what it is, but it is loud and I guess for some people funny. And it serves a purpose. So I understand if you like this more. Mileage definitely varies on this film. Let's talk about what's going to happen now with Will Smith. I think the big thing that you're going to see as soon as tomorrow, you're going to see his agents at CAA. For those of you who don't know, I'm here in LA. I know all the agencies. I know this town. I got it backwards and forwards. Let me tell you, CAA is as big as it gets. If you're with CAA, you are at the pinnacle of this town, right? They do not represent losers. They represent only the biggest of stars. And his agents at CAA are going to go to Warner Brothers. They're going to go to Universal and Paramount, every studio in town. Sony, they might even hit up, in the past, we thought they might have to hit up Vertical. They're not going to have to call Vertical, not Blue Fox. They're not going to have to call even a Neon or an A24, although that would be cool if he made a Neon or A24 film. In fact, our maybe number one film of 2024 right now is a Neon film. It's coming up here shortly. I can't wait for you to hear about that film. But when you look at his agents, he's going to push the shit out of him being hot. This is a stock, and Will Smith is on fire. This thing is up 50+% in the course of a weekend. If we all thought this man was dead and buried, guess what? Nah. Even I'm wrong. I admitted it this morning on Breaking Box Office. I was wrong. It doesn't happen often. Anyone who's watched this channel since its inception, and there's a few, there's like 2 people, they can't tell you that I have been wrong twice. And I don't even remember the other time. This is the second time that I've been wrong ever. And look what's going to happen. I promise you, I Am Legend 2 will start shooting like now, okay? Michael B. Jordan is attached to that. And I think there is still some hesitancy, as you can imagine, with the studios. They're like, well, let's see how this weekend goes. You saw that TH article we talked about here the other night, exactly saying just that the studios are like, I don't want to invest tens, hundreds of millions of dollars in a film. Obviously, I Am Legend 2 is going to cost hundreds of millions, at least 150 plus, right? So you don't want to invest that kind of money on somebody who is going to be coming off of a bomb in Bad Boys 4. That didn't happen, right? No question about it here. This is a huge win, and his stock is as high as it's been certainly since the slap, and might even be higher than it's been since like Hancock. Right? I mean, we're going back like over a decade. Remember, Will Smith used to be pinnacle box office performing star. And now with this, all of the perceptions of him in this town flip to positive. I want to work with them. I want to work with this guy. I think he can be in I Am Legend 2. I would expect, even though it sounds like this was already going to happen, but now if it was sort of like, well, we're like 75-25, this is 100% done. 100% done. It's been forever for this film to get a sequel, and it probably deserves one, right? For what it is, I Am Legend is a solid thriller zombie genre we've seen a million times, right? But a little bit different. And the film I'm going to talk about tonight, by the way, another tease. This is, I believe, my 4th or 5th tease of what's coming up, is a zombie film, but unlike anything you've ever seen. I can't wait to talk about it. It's coming up. But right now, comments on Will Smith, because a lot of you were coming in here and telling me I'm done with him. He slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. That's some deviant shit. So I think we need to get rid of him. And certainly there's still people that believe that. But this weekend, you look at the performance of this film, and clearly it's been drowned out. That whole narrative is dying quickly. Does it prove that Will Smith has power or Bad Boys has fans? Kuzma, very good comment, very good question. I think it helps that it was this film. No question about it. You want to have the next film that is up for you. If you're a guy like Will Smith, if you are in the kind of trouble that he was from a career standpoint, you want the next film in the barrel to be something that is bulletproof, right? That is going to probably succeed. And even though I did not believe in this film, okay, again, I admit it. Okay, don't come after me anymore about this shit. The second time I've been wrong, there won't be a third. When you look at where this is, it really was the best case scenario. We're talking about Deadpool Wolverine being the best case scenario for Marvel, right? Very similar here. When you're in a streak and you are seen as, what's the line from the, you know, he's like the kid on the playground. It's from Tropic Thunder. The kid in the playground has got lice. No one wants to play with him. That was Will Smith. He was the kid in the playground with lice. We got to get you back on the monkey bars, right? Isn't that the exact quote from McConaughey? I believe I nailed it. Tropic Thunder, one of the best comedies of all time. So when you look at Will Smith, he's hot. This is going to happen for him, and it was the best case scenario, just like Deadpool Wolverine is the best case scenario for the MCU. If they had Marvels or Eternals, or just pick a film that has not done well for the MCU recently, and that was the next film after the Marvels made $200 million worldwide, the MCU might be dead and buried. The fact that it's Deadpool Wolverine is as fortuitous as it gets, and the same thing applies here. Excellent comment, Kuzma. Rack him. Oh, wait, I sound like, sorry, that's Rome. I'm not doing Rome. I'm not being the movie Rome, okay? Either Will Smith is back or people really miss Martin Lawrence in this role. Yeah, Martin Lawrence, who, of course, had the Martin Show way back on Fox in the 90s, right? Martin Lawrence is like, this is a paycheck. If anyone's excited this film did well, it's obviously Will Smith. It's also Martin Lawrence. It's not like Martin Lawrence has all these offers. He's not Glenn Powell, right? Glenn Powell's now like, no, this isn't. Okay, this sounds okay, but he has his pick of the litter. That's not, Martin Lawrence is like, do you want to do Bad Boys 5 or nothing? I mean, if you put it like that, I will do Bad Boys 5. And this also bumps both of their paychecks up because obviously you want to strike while the iron is hot. Cliche alert. And you want to make certain that you get these deals done. And trust me, the CAA, man, they're sharks. Those guys know what they're doing. Okay. I've been to events at CAA, at William Morris, ICM. Those guys are as hardcore as it gets when it comes to money. Going back to McConaughey playing an agent in Tropic Thunder. God, I love Tropic Thunder. Tell me you love it. Of course you do. Nomis. Yes, I'm a fan. I'm one of those people. I'm done with Will. I'm not even the biggest Chris Rock fan. But for Will to do what he did in front of the world, to him, is unforgivable. You're not alone. Listen, Nomis, you're not alone in that thought. I admitted that I had my issues with it. I don't know how you don't have your issues with a guy coming up and slapping the shit out of someone live on the Oscars. I understand he said something about his wife. Maybe they're separated. Maybe they see other. I don't know what the relationship's like. But I still don't think that I would stand up knowing the ramifications of my actions. And as we have seen in the world currently, that there's not a lot of ramifications for actions. And in this case, hey, look, I mean, what was the ramifications? A 2-year kind of hiatus. But he only had Emancipation that was going nowhere anyhow. Never even saw the movie. I went to the premiere of that, and they started like 45 minutes later. I'm not waiting 45 minutes to see Emancipation, a film that's dead already because you're putting it out right after he slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. That was dead the whole time. But again, going back to the good comment from Kuzma, Bad Boys really helped out Will Smith. And let's show real quickly. You want to see how he's being received by the average person? Okay, here we go. This is from Cinemark Baldwin Hills, which is very near the Crenshaw district in South LA. And here he is at the movie theater on Friday. Back watching the movie. And now he's going to take some pictures with everybody. This is how you do it. You know, listen, I got to give a ton of credit to Will's agent, to Will's managers, to everyone who put this together, because this is a brilliant PR play. Have him sit in the back of the movie theater at a home crowd, right? That crowd loved this movie. That crowd they love Will Smith, clearly. That's where you put Will Smith. You make him look good. And this film not only did that, but little things like this matter, okay? I'm telling you that you need to understand in this town the power of PR and doing the right move and the cagey move, and this was just that. And it set up a cycle of people on Twitter talking about this event, and then that drove ticket sales throughout the weekend. Interesting to note on this film, I mentioned that this did not do as well at the traditional locations you expect it to do. It did better at some locations we don't normally see. You look at AMC, it wasn't even AMC, I believe it was Cinemark in Atlanta was the number one location overall for this film. I got the top 10, I'll have to dig it up. Sony sent me the email because I'm like, what are their top 10 locations? Because they're different than they typically are. When you look at a film like a Dune 2, when you look at coming up this weekend, Inside Out, when you look at any big film that opens up, and by the way, Inside Out 2 will be the biggest debut of the year, no question about it, has to get above Dune at 82.5, I believe is that number, right? So 85 plus, and you're looking at the best 83. 82.6, and you're above. But this film, I think, has a chance to get to the century mark. The film that is clearly going to be the biggest hit of the summer is Deadpool Wolverine. But when you stack them, Inside Out 2 is very close to maybe the number 2, right? You've got Twisters in there. I think that film we've talked about over the past several weeks. Twisters is one to keep an eye on. That's the one I think is the wild card. If that is as good as the trailer, I believe, at least as you talk about a popcorn film, that's Twisters. If that film pops like I expect it to, especially with Glenn Powell, the it boy right now, right? The it guy in Hollywood is Glenn Powell. If we get that film to go, then maybe we can make something out of the summer. But I'm telling you right now, Bad Boys 4 just saved cinema. There's been some films that have saved cinema over the past several years, and a few of them were, do you guys remember? Free Guy. Free Guy saved cinema. That was at the time going back to when we were told, you can't go to the movie theater. If you go to the movie theater, there's a very good chance you'll die, they'll die, that guy back there will die, and even that dude over there. I know he's way back there, but you went to the movies, he's dead. He's dead. He's fucking dead. That's what we were told, right? So Free Guy came in and actually did a pretty good numbers, like in the 20s, when everyone was like, I can't go to the movie theater, I might die. I gotta sanitize everything. If I touch something, let me sanitize my groceries. When that shit was going on, can you tell how I feel about that? Can you tell when I had to drive to Vegas to watch Tenet? Oh, it's too dangerous to see a movie in LA. You need to drive 4.5 hours to Vegas to see Tenet and mask up and all that shit. But you can't be here in LA because we're going to shut that shit down and we're going to make you go to drive-ins. And then Orange County opened. I went down to watch Tenet again in Orange County. There was no one in the theater because, if I go to the theater, I could die. Can we never do that again? Promise me. If there's one thing I can get from you tonight, promise me. I don't care what happens. I don't care if shit turns to scanners with heads exploding in the street. We're not gonna freak out again. We're not standing 6 feet apart. We're not doing that whole shit. You can only have 5 of you in the grocery. If there's 6, someone's gonna die. Guys, I don't want to mess around. If you don't go this way in the aisle, we're all going to die. You need to follow the arrows, sir. Turn around and follow the fucking arrows. We're not doing that shit again. We're just not going to do it. Simone, demographics for Bad Boys, unlike that of Dune 2. Film performed better in theaters that are more diverse. 100%. I mean, you look at the audience, go back to the the THR article and you look at the breakdown of this, you see it right here. Black moviegoers made up the biggest quadrant of the audience, 44%. That is much higher than the traditional movie, certainly than a Dune 2, right? I mean, we don't explain why, guys. We don't need to do that. We're not doing that. But obviously, there's audiences for different films. The film I'm going to rave about here shortly is a tiny piece of the movie-going pie. I hope you're one of them. I hope you give this film a chance because it is lights out disturbing and depressing, but cinema. That's not for everybody. This is a bigger portion of the movie-going pie, and certainly, as you see here, 44% of black moviegoers were the biggest quadrant of the audience, and then 44% of the audience was between 18 and 34, which is a little surprising when you think about Bad Boys being an old franchise, right? Started in the 90s, and this film did very well with the 18 to 34 demo. By the way, speaking of that demo, you know what film's going to do well in that demo's Twisters. I mean, we just talked about it. You got Glenn Powell. You've got the other girl, Daisy Ridley. What's her name? Daisy Edgar Jones. She's great. And by the way, I don't hate that film. The one with the Marshmans, whatever the hell it was called. Surprisingly, I did not hate that film. I really walked into that going, this is whatever it's called. The Marsh Girl Queen of the Swamp. Whatever it was called. I didn't hate it. But when you look at Twisters, it's really prime for that 18 to 34. And those kids, right, the Gen Z, the millennials, they don't go to most movies these days. They're like really picky. They're like, we'll see Barbie. Of course, we'll see Oppenheimer because of Barbenheimer. And then we're just going to take a break for months and months and months. And then they come out for Bad Boys. I think the other reason this film did well in Slacker poll, Beverly Hills, we're going to talk about that next, but it's coming up right now. Thank you for pushing along the show because now I've been hammering Will Smith for 20 minutes in a good way. Not hammering, like, listen, I was ready to absolutely savage and say it's done. But remember, when you watch MMT, what are you getting? You're getting objectivity. You don't get someone on here. You're not getting a shill. You're getting someone who is hella talented. Thank you very much, everybody. Give me a like. And then also fearless and also is not a shill. These things are rare, right? I am the rainbow spotted unicorn of critics. Truth be told. And the other thing is we talk about it all the time. During a live stream, I will bury each and every one of those bastards. Dead. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. Slot them, slot them, slot them. They're all losing every single time. So step up. But as we go back and we talk about what's next, I'm going to go off. I'm going to go off on, you know damn well, I'm going off on Netflix because I'm the only voice in the entire space who has the balls to say Netflix sucks ass. Everybody else like, well, I'm afraid that Netflix might not invite me to that next party and I might not get my free drink. Chris Gore. Oh my God. And we want Chris to get better, healthy for sure. But can you give it up? Can you just go and say Netflix sucks dick and not worry about the fact that you might not get invited to the next party that Netflix shows? Who gives a shit? I've been to every party in this town. I've seen every famous name backward and forward. Doesn't matter. Been there, done that. I'm more interested in talking to directors, cinematographers, composers. Some of the best conversations I ever had were like Ludwig Göransson talking about score, talking cinematographers. I don't care. The star. There's Charlize Theron. There's Nicole Kidman. There's Brad Pitt. I probably would lose my shit over. I'm not going to, man, listen. It's Brad Pitt. We're allowed to have a man crush. Glenn Powell sat at my table at Critics' Choice back in like 2015 before he was a big deal. And I told him that night, and Glenn, I know you follow me on Twitter. I told you that night you're going to be a big star because I knew it from watching Everybody Wants Some. If you haven't seen that film, let's make that our MMT must-see. Everybody Wants Some. So good in that film. Glenn Powell rocks. And let's talk about Netflix, though, because there's a major problem. And thank you so much, Slacker, because the poll is, does Netflix suck balls? Yes, the answer is yes. Here we go. This is Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. As you guys know, it's a Netflix film. And as you also know, being a Netflix film, that the theatrical footprint for this is 7 theaters, and the majority of them are at least 3 hours from your house. But they have a, quote, theatrical footprint. They don't have AMC Regal. They don't have Cinemark. They don't have any of that shit. They did for Glass Onion for 1 fucking week. 1 week. So here we go with this film, Axel F., a film that I grew up watching, Beverly Hills Cop, right? I had the cassette. I listened to that thing backward and forward and Neutron Dance all the way through to Rock and Roll Me Again by The System. I love that song, by the way. That's an underrated track. Wasn't a single from the cassette. That was the biggest thing ever. But I did say cassette. If it dates me, so be it, man. Listen, I also love Beverly Hills Cop 2. I think it is in-your-face, fun. It's like Beverly Hills Cop is everything that Ride or Die isn't. It's a much better version of the same like gas bag of a film. I love that film. And I think this will be fun because it's Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is Axel F., but no, we don't get to see it in a theater because the shittiest studio in this town, by far, it's not even a contest. It is one shitty studio, and the rest of them are okay. It is Netflix, who doesn't give a shit about you going to see a movie in a movie theater, and because of that, you're not going to see Axel F. in a theater. I'm not even going to watch this movie because I don't watch shit that's streaming only, and don't tell me I can watch it over in Glendale or North Hollywood at Lemley. I'm not supporting their shit. I'm not supporting Netflix. Okay, I'm going to support studios who put their movies at AMC. I can support Neon. I can support Vertical. I can support the smallest studio you've ever heard of. Disney Plus put their shit in for a week for the Jim Henson doc, which is one of the best films of the year. I could watch that AMC. Netflix doesn't give a shit about you and your movies, and they are not going to give you Axel F. If you can do another thing for me, you can go and you can tell them whenever they post about this film, where is your movie theater footprint? Are you at AMC? Are you at Regal? Are you at Cinemark? Are you at a theater with more than 10 patrons? That's all I want to know. And no disrespect to the indies out there. I love you. Lemley's awesome. I mean, I just love AMC because I'm 5 seconds from AMC. And let me tell you, the AMC Burbank Complex is the best in the nation because we have 30 screens and every single film that is available at any kind of level, the smallest film you can imagine. Like I said, I go back to a Vertical, a Blue Fox Entertainment. You're talking like scraping bottom. We're talking below IFC. They're there. I'm going to support AMC, and I'm not going to support Netflix. And here's the answer to your question. Would this do better? It's Cinema Cola. It's not just they don't even care about quality. I mean, I didn't even watch the Jennifer Lopez thing. I mean, what is that? I don't even understand. I feel like doesn't it feel like they're kind of like a money laundering operation at times? You're like, what is this shit? I told you guys before a million times, I'm writing a movie. It's going to be amazing. I'm not even kidding you. You guys know when I'm talking shit, I do it. You guys know that. There's one thing, Weber, okay, no. If I say it, it's happening. I'm writing a movie with somebody else. I'm not going to tell you who. And it's really good. I wouldn't even bother if it wasn't. If it weren't good, I wouldn't even do it. I promise you that when that gets done, and let's say a studio's like, we like this. First of all, Netflix would never buy a film from me because of how much I've trashed them. But I'm telling you, even if they were in the bidding, here's how it would go. If I had a film and it debuted at Sundance, and they were like, okay, here's what we have the offers from. We got Neon, they'll give you 5. We have A24 wants it a lot. They have 7.5 on the table. But I got to tell you this. I know you're not like you love theatrical, but I'm just telling you, Netflix is willing to give you 15 for this film. You guys know me, and I'm telling you, it's 100%. Get me a Bible. Get me whatever you want. I'll put my hand on it. I would not sell my movie to Netflix. I don't care if they were triple what the other offers were. What was the next best offer? A24. Hell yeah, A20. I don't want to go with A20. I don't want to be involved with Netflix. I don't even want to be. It's like the stink of Netflix. Netflix is the kid on the playground with the lice, right? Netflix and Will Smith. Well, not anymore, Will Smith. This is why am I the only, can I just ask you a question? Why am I the only person with principles out there? Everybody else goes the highest price. How much can I make? What can I, no. That's not how you run your life. You run your life based on principles, based on what you believe in. Do you love movie theaters? Do you love theatrical? Look at Sean Baker. What did he do with Anora? He's like, I'm not selling that shit to Netflix. I'm working with Focus, Neon. They're tag teaming on Anora. Comes out in October. Can't wait to see it. I mean, listen, Sean Baker, from a filmmaking perspective, is exactly what I like. That is exactly what my film to look like. Just give me that look. I don't always love the screenplay. Red Rocket, I would redo that entire screenplay. But I love the way he composes a film, okay? And I'm telling you, I wouldn't sell it. I wouldn't sell. Baker wouldn't. I wouldn't. And I promise you this, I wish more people wouldn't. And let's also hammer David Fincher for working with them. David, you have lessened yourself without question. You have gone from one of the most preeminent, esteemed directors in this town to somebody who makes movies for Netflix. Like, that's all I got to say. I don't even need to say anything. I just need to say, you're making a movie with Netflix. Therefore, dude. I mean, first of all, let's also go back, and I'm going to answer this, by the way. Leave this up, please. Gone Girl on the producers tonight. Thank you, everybody. Give him a huge like for that. Big help, huge help, especially with everybody here on X. I really appreciate you guys being here. Always fun. It's going to be wild. We still have a long way to go here tonight, going at least an hour tonight. Let's talk about Beverly Hills Cop. And we look at this thing, and I'll get back to wherever I was. Beverly Hills Cop 4 is this year's Top Gun Mavericks. It's produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, and you had to put it on Netflix. I mean, listen, this is a film. Can we all just agree? You're looking at Bad Boys 4 making 56 million, 100+ million globally opening weekend. You're telling me that Beverly Hills Cop, last time we saw Axel F, 1994, 30 years. You're telling me 30 years later that you can't pop a bigger number than 56 million? This is how it changes. It changes when you guys, not just me, out taking all the bullets. Here's Weber out in front again, getting in front of all this shit. First guy to say Everything Everywhere was overrated. And then now it's like Film Tour's like, now that I thought about it, Everything Everywhere really wasn't that good. Well, guess who was out in front of that one? Beau's Afraid. Guess who was there? Poor Things. Is it disturbing with what the content? Yeah. Oh, Weber again. And then you all come around later going, you know what? This is problematic. Yeah, he is right. Why do I have to be? Because you know why? It takes fucking balls. And most of the people in the space don't have it. They're going back. Do they like me? Am I part of the group? Oh, I don't want to piss off the nerd-ass film Twitter group. Oh, no, that would be the worst thing in my life. Oh, my God, I can't imagine being shaded by those people hiding behind avatars. I mean, literally, if that's how you're going to be, I don't know about it. Listen, I'm telling you here now that this is a film that would open to at least 75 million. We're never going to get to see it on a theater. I'm not going to go support it. That's for damn sure. Nell God 206, how do we get you running the studio? I'm telling you, welcome to the channel. If you've ever watched MMT, this question comes up all the time. I can tell you right now, you guys know, go back and watch any video. Every time I talk about this shit, I talk about it as bluntly as possible. The first thing I do as a studio head, I come straight in, right off the bat. Every single hire is going to be viewed through the lens of talent. End of discussion. There is no more checking boxes. There's no more nepotism. There is no more, what did you do for me? It is all about, let me see your reel. You're good. You're in. Let me see what, no, you're terrible. Get this guy out of here. I don't even care. I said, literally, show me a resume. I don't even want to know. Don't even answer the race and sex. I don't care. I just want to know, are you talented? Let me call your references. This person's good. Bring them to the studio. And instead, we have a town that runs on, well, we got to check some boxes. We got a virtue signal. We've got to go ahead and get that person in because nepotistically, it's a good hire. The longer you do that, the more trouble you get in because you get people who are sub-talented in your projects and you can't get rid of them. And then you end up with things like whatever the fuck that Star Wars thing is. It looks terrible. It doesn't even look like Star Wars. I'm looking at that going, what is this? I'm not talking about it. We're not talking about Star Wars. I've got the figures in the closet and I'm not going to break them out tonight. But trust me when I say I've got an entire shoebox full of Star Wars figures, first generation shit. Okay? Luke Skywalker with a broken wrist lightsaber shit. Tron figures, Black Hole. Don't challenge me when it comes to geek shit. I just don't want to talk about that stuff all the time. But at the end of the day, studios, the longer they have a system in place that values the color of someone's skin versus their talent, then we got a fucking problem. This isn't hard. I don't understand how this is so hard. I don't care where you grew up. I don't care if you had a hard life. I don't care what you look like. Are you talented in the role I'm trying to hire you in? God, make it make sense to me, please. And if you say virtue signaling, I will tell you this. Virtue signaling is the lame limp dick shit that you could ever pull. If you're a virtue signaler, honest to God, walk around with your limp cock hanging out, because that's what you are as a person. Oh, let's go for this cause. Look at me. I'm such a virtuous person. Fuck off. Listen, do your shit and live by your principles, and we'll be able to tell who you are. Don't virtue signal. God knows we don't do that on this channel. If I hate something, I hate it. If I love it, I adore it. There's no in between. I'm never going to be bought. I'm not for sale. End of discussion. Listen, no, you don't want me for president. I would walk into these meetings and go, listen, guys, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but we're not doing this shit. Do you get it? They'd be like, take him out. Take whoever out. That's it. We can't have him be president. At the end of the day, it's common sense, man. I'm Gen X. We grew up like that. We grew up just valuing people for who they were. I didn't have a friend who, this is my black friend. This is my gay friend. I had both, but I never said that. By the way, I feel very good because this is my black friend. What? What? You'd get punched back in the day for that. Now it's like, look, I'm virtuous. Look at my rainbow coalition. Fuck. Just be a person. By the way, thank you for being here, everybody, and enjoying another one of my rants. For those of you who've never seen it, that happens virtually every single stream. I'll just suddenly go off on random tangents like that. But yes, by the way, Netflix still sucks balls. Okay, get ready, guys. I want you to stick with me because I know this is the time when some of you might be like, well, you're not talking about Will Smith. You're not talking about Beverly Hills Cop. You're talking about a niche film. You're talking about something that maybe I'm not interested in, but that's the point of this channel. That's why I started this thing, the Riddler's channel in the Batman 2 years ago now. I started it to shine a light on films like what we're about ready to talk about. It is a tiny film from Neon, a film that I didn't even know existed until this weekend when I opened up my AMC app and go, hold up, what is Handling the Undead? That sounds weird. Let's look into that. Well, guess what? We're going to discuss what I consider to be arguably, right now for me, the best film of the year. Here is a taste of the trailer now.
Fenomenet ser ut til å begrense seg til Oslo-regionen. Helt presis hva som har skjedd, det usikkert.
Mamma er død.
Og så våknet hun igjen.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there. That gives you a taste of this film. I'm going to tell you that as I sat there at the AMC 8 last night, it is rare that when a film finishes, I am left completely awestruck and completely blown away by what I just witnessed. And what we are looking at here with Handling the Undead, in my estimation, is, I think, down the road, that once people come around to, I think some people who saw this early at Sundance didn't get it, weren't ready for what this is. This will be, in my estimation, a horror masterpiece in the near future. That's how strong this film is. This is disturbing, and this is utter brilliance. The direction on this film is some of the best I have seen from a first-time feature. You talk about, and again, by the way, those of you who are like, Weber only likes movies directed by white men. Like, Matt, someone actually says that shit. There are people out there, like, if you knew anything about me, you know that's furthest thing from the truth. This is a movie directed by a woman. Again, you go back, you look at a Saint Maud, you look at an After Sun. These are two of my favorite films of the past 5 years. Saint Maud was my number one film of 2021. I got to see that right before COVID. Maybe it's 2020 because I saw it before it fell. This is directed by a woman, Theatrical. I certainly butchered that name. It's her first ever film, and I'm going to tell you that from when you look at this from a cinematography and an editing standpoint, right, the pure cinematic elements of this film, it is some of the strongest work I have seen from a feature debut, maybe ever. Okay, what you're going to hear about this film is that it is slow, it is depressing, and that at the end, you wanted something more from the film in the way of action. Let me tell you guys something. We don't need every film to be Bad Boys, Ride or Die. Okay? God, thank God they're not. We need some films that when you go in, you get sucked in to something that will stick with you. Now, 24 hours after I have watched this film, I am still thinking about Handling the Undead. That doesn't happen with a film with me, because the emotional resonance of this film will carry you well out of the theater. When I walked out of the theater last night, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about what this film is about in a minute, but I'm going to tell you what happened. When I walked out of the film, I sat through the entire end of the film in stunned silence, listening to, by the way, really strong score here as well. When you look at this film, I was just like, I need to tell people about this film. This is what I want to watch. This is what I want people to see, what is truly elite filmmaking. This gentleman was in the back, looked like an industry pro, because here in this town, we got a lot of editors and cinematographers that go to these films because they love movies. They are here. They work on these things. We walked out together, and I just looked at him, and I go, holy shit. He goes, dude. He goes, I'm just telling you. And I said, listen, I think we're going to be looking at a masterpiece here down the road. And I'm telling you, anybody who was on the right side of this early, remember that they were first in line telling you that this film is going to be, in my estimation, a horror masterpiece. Now, as I say that, this is not a pure horror film. It's a zombie film. It takes that trope, but it changes things up, and it makes it more about grief, loss, despair, and then the rekindling of hope. And I think that's stuff that we just don't deep dive on in cinema often. We get so many films that you just gloss over and you have no real connection to it. You don't think about other ways this film impacts you in life. I came out of this film and I started thinking about my own being, my own existence. What would happen if this actually happened to me? It's depressing. This is my own, listen, this is not a negative, but I'm telling you that you need to know, if you're going to see Handling the Undead, you are getting into the first 20 minutes of Midsommar for an hour and 40 minutes. Does that make sense? Right? Remember Midsommar. Listen, I think the first 20, 30 minutes of Midsommar is some of the best cinema that I've seen recently. I think once we go to the camp, different movie. But when you look at what Ari Aster does in the first 15, 20 minutes of that film, that is this film the entire runtime. It is truly a piece of cinematic genius, and I can't wait to see whatever she has next in the barrel. This is as high as we go, guys. I mean, we had 100 for the Jim Henson docs. I love Jim Henson. This is a 97%. I'm going to tell you guys, this is not for everybody. This is not for somebody who wants to go in and have a film just grab you by the throat and make you just go, okay, I'm in, I've got it. You're going to have patience with this. You're going to have to allow it to do its thing. But by the end of this film, you are going to feel the full impact of one of, if not the best film of the year, will be easily in my top 5 films of 2024. Here's how I know that. Once I start getting up into the 90s, I always talk about this with my MMT scores. When I start getting up into the high 90s, it's like the Richter scale, right? If I'm at 85, it's solid, fine, it's a B. Once we start moving up, I don't care if it's 86, 87, every number we go up is like the Richter scale, right? A 9.1 and a 9.2, it sounds like it's a lot, it's a 10th off. No. It goes up that much stronger, right? So going up to a 97, guys, we're so far up there. I don't have scores like this on films very often. Tar would be 100 or 99.5. I mean, it's hard to get 100. I gave Idea Man 100 because I love Jim Henson, so I was a little bit, popped it here. But once you're talking about 97, you're up there so high. Listen, if you can get a couple things from the stream, it is Netflix sucks balls, and you need to support films like Handling the Undead. And let me tell you that I get a lot of shit from the Neons and the A24s, they're very much aware of who I am. And I'm not saying that from an ego standpoint. I'm telling you that they hate it when I hammer their films. I'm here to tell you tonight, Neon, I know someone will show you the stream. Remember that every time that I destroy one of your films, I turn around and call this one of the best films of the year. I'm going to make this. I want this film to be up for international feature. It's not going to get a best picture. It's too hard. It's an international feature play. This needs to be top 5. There's no way there's going to be 5 films stronger than this in that category. And you look at international feature going back over the last few years, some of the best films that you'll see are in that category traditionally. You go back at Decision to Leave. If you've not seen Decision to Leave, you need to watch that. You talk about filmmaking. You talk about everything in a film. This is along that level as far as how great the elements are here, and we're looking at a future superstar of a director. I can't wait for you guys to see this film. Come back and tell me what you thought, but remember what I told you. Holy shit. You're going to be depressed. That's the point. That's the point. I saw Handling the Undead on Tuesday. Pretty good film. Love her name. Is that how you say her name? Yeah, she was also in Worst Person in the World, right? And also the guy from that's in this. So you got both of them. And it is there. Listen, there's subtitles in this film, but let me tell you that there's not a lot of dialogue. So don't, if you're one of those people like, I don't want to read, there's very little reading. It's about mood. This film is about setting a tone that is so ominous and so foreboding that you know we're going to some dark fucking places in this film. Let me just say this without giving the movie away. One of the mothers in this film, I'm going to try to do one of the scenes with one of the moms who's affected by the zombie virus. When you watch that scene, trust me, you will not forget that scene. That's how guys, blown away by this film. Holy shit. Gotta see it. Unbelievable. Nell God 206. Neon's been doing some great work. I love Pig. Can't wait for Long Legs. I love Oz Perkins. You talk about a director who deserves more attention. You're talking about Oz Perkins. Go back and look. I was one of the first people to come out of Gretel and Hansel and tell you, oh my God, that was an Orion movie. If that was an A24 movie, you'll all be like Gretel and Hansel. That direction in The Black Coat's Daughter, or whatever that thing was called. The direction, though, on Gretel and Hansel, and you look at Long Legs, watch the trailer, saw it again last night, the second trailer. It is going to be amazing. If there's films I'm looking forward to, right? Maxine, Long Legs, and also Cuckoo. 2 of those are Neons, and obviously Maxine A24. I understand, like literally, I hammer film Twitter all day, but yet I just mentioned 3 film Twitter films. Because at the end of the day, I think that of all the critics out there, evaluators, as I like to say, there's very few who have the range I have, right? I've got the range to go from this film, Handling the Undead, which is so far in the cinephilic hole. It is so far down there in such a small piece of the pie, right? Sliver. And then turn around and say, you know what? The Little Mermaid wasn't terrible. The remake. Yeah, I'm not saying it was great. I'm just saying how often, you're not going to get that often. Because the film Twitter nerds don't even want to discuss some of this shit. And then the hardcore mainstream shills like a Brandon Davis. Brandon Davis doesn't even know what the fuck this film is. What's Handling the Undead? What? But yet, remember, that's the same guy who came out of The Creator. Oh, my God. Talk about an overpraised film. Best film of the year. How do you, as someone in the film space, come out of a movie and say best film of the year when you watch 10% of the films? That's the world we live in now. We live in a world where we have all these influencers, the Brandon Davises, the Eric Davises, what's his ass, Soups. All of these shills, man. Not a shill. That's the thing. What's funny is film Twitter comes after me all the time. Weber this. Hey, Weber took a picture when people are walking out of the movie theater and the credits are rolling. Oh, my God, that guy. The nerve. Fucking talk about unhinged. That shit's crazy to even say that. But that's all these people have because they don't know that at the end of the day, what I bring to the table is what they don't. Not a shill, talented, and completely fearless. Those people are afraid. Well, what if I come out of a movie that's supposed to like poor things and say it's bad? Why might I get dragged by the film Twitter dweebs? Oh no! Oh my God, my life! Bring it. Fucking bring it. And I'll take my next cinema selfie the next time I see a movie. I didn't last night because I was blown away. I mean, not only that, it felt like a morgue at the end, right? I was like, we're at a literally at a funeral, I cannot take a picture. But I mean, after Bad Boys, they're Weber took a picture. At some nerd, there's so many film Twitter dweebs. I'm glad I'm on X now, so I can actually directly address them. Let me tell you something, film Twitter dweebs. You talk a bunch of shit. I do shit. There's a big difference between me and you. It's not even like comparable. So keep going about your talking shit bullshit, and just know at the end of the day that what I do every day is do shit and get things done. And that is, I know, the complete antithesis of what you are, a fucking talker who doesn't even bring any shit. You just talk a bunch of nonsense. Also, remember this. When you go and you have a life outside of cinema and you do other things, that helps you evaluate films. You know, you have a family. That's going to change how you view a Handling the Undead versus if you're some 22-year-old kid. You look at some of these people who went to Sundance, so they come out of Handling the Undead. It's glacially paced and boring for a zombie movie. It's not a zombie movie. Yes, it is, but that's not what it is. And they don't understand that you have to have life experience to bring into some of these things, right? That's the best cinema. When you watch something and you get to take something from it and you apply it to your life and go, I understand this. I can relate to the character because I've been here before. What would I do if someone that I knew suddenly that was dead came back to life, but they were a zombie, but not a zombie from Night of the Living Dead, a zombie that just basically sits there and looks off into space like they're a vegetable? That's this movie. And that is powerful, man. If you apply that to your life and say, what would you do? How would you react? And this film does that through 3 different stories. It's so great, guys. I want you to see this film. All right. Why is Weber's... Yeah, thank you. Exactly. You know, listen, for all the film Twitter dweebs who come after me, just remember, and I know Schlacker, I appreciate that. Everybody who comes in here, by the way, if you want to comment, come into the YouTube channel. That's where the comments are. Twitter, hey, thanks for watching, guys. Amazing. I think these are fun to do. We bring the audience a little bit bigger. You get a chance to see what we do here. I've been doing it now for over 2 years. This is what you get every time. I don't care what the reaction stream is, whatever we're doing, this is how I'm going to address it. It is live. We do not tape shit. I do not come in here and do edit. We shoot. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's shit. You don't know what you're going to get. That's the magic of live streaming. And by the way, do you see anybody else here? Is there anybody? There's nobody except for all of my FYC DVD covers. That's it. It's me, that, and then also my bottle of Skull from Midsummer. That's all I have, okay? And at the end of the day, I don't have 3 other people to lean on. So what did you think? No. I don't need that shit. I'll handle it by myself. What do we got? Your comments and me, we roll. All right, we're only going to about 10 more minutes. I'm going an hour. I'm not doing 2 hours tonight, guys. You kill me. Hit me with a comment if you can. If you have something for me, Gone Girl. Otherwise, we're going to move along. I'm going to give you a proof critic. The Watchers was better than Exorcist Believer. These kind of comments will get you banned, Jay Shrey. Welcome to the channel. But Gone Girl put him on double serious suspension for that comment. I will defend Exorcist Believer, not forever, but I'll defend the film. I'm telling you, I wanted to hate that film. Halloween Ends is the biggest atrocity maybe ever committed by a director in David Gordon Green. Bringing in Corey. What the fuck? That, go back and watch my stream on that film. The fact that Mendelsohn defends that film, I'm telling you, listen, here, if you're defending Halloween Ends, you're not a fan of Halloween, and you also have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Those are two. The latter part of those is bad. Like, I have not come on here and said this film is a 98%, and then you go watching this shit's shit. Now, listen, Believer is, I think, much better than Halloween Ends, a much better film than I ever expected. I love what they do to the legacy character. I love how they take the girl at the end. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I think that is really strong. I mean, listen, there are issues with it, but in general, it's got a viciousness to it that I really appreciated versus the cartoonish bullshit of Halloween Ends and Corey and Michael Myers forming a tag team and going after people in the house. The girl, that's terrible. I told you guys, and listen, we talked about being a studio head. If I was at Universal and they showed me the test, we're going to show this to the test screening audience tonight. Here's Halloween Ends. What do you think, Weber? As soon as it's over, you guys know, I am going full fucking Les Grossman. You over there, pointing directly at David Gordon Green. You're responsible for this shit. Let me tell you. Get that motherfucker out of here. Get him out of here. I don't want to see him again. Get him off the lot. Cancel his cards, lock his door, throw his shit in the street. He's out. And we are burying this shit. Well, only thing we're going to do is keep the end. You can keep the last 15 minutes. Everything else has to be reshot. If you bring Corey back, I want him to be slaughtered within the first 5 minutes. I want him to jump over the rail along with the kid that he accidentally pushes over the rail, or however it happened. I want Corey to die. I want his head to splatter like a pumpkin. That's how we're going to do it. And David Gordon Green, you're gone. And if I would have done that, I wouldn't have been treated to Exorcist Believers. So there's that. Thank you, superhero movies. There's someone who has my back on this. A blitzkrieg of energy in that third act. Exactly. You get it. That's the thing. I've never been that wrong, and I'm still not that wrong. I was wrong about Bad Boys 4, but that's it. Let's do an MMT approved critic because we're running out of time, and frankly, I'm winded. It's just me. I mean, it's not, I can't turn to my FYC screener of Tar and say, Kate, will you speak for us, and grab the mic. She's not going to do that. And either is Mia, either is Robert, or Joaquin. None of them are helping me tonight. It's just me, except for Gone Girl, who's pushing the buttons. Everybody give him a love, a like, and all that stuff. All right, here we go. Let's find our approved critic. I got to find where I put it. It's someone I just found, and I've seen this person before, but this is someone who gets it, okay? I don't know where the hell I put it. Damn it! Here it is. MMT approved critic is Randy Myers. You're asking, who's Randy Myers? That's what I was saying like about an hour ago. And then I looked and I'm like, who else understood the brilliance of Handling the Undead? Who just proved themselves with a truly remarkable film? And we're going to go to Rotten Tomatoes. I literally just lost it. This is what happens when I all of a sudden start randomly doing things. Welcome to the channel, by the way. And this is what we do all the time. It's just kind of like hit or miss. And tonight's a miss. I'm sorry. Everybody who's watching, it is a huge whiff, but we're not going to redo any shit. Shit's live, man. Here it is. Handling the Undead. He writes for the, let me see what he writes for. He writes for the San Jose Mercury News, or for those of you who are uneducated, the San Joe's Mercury News. Here we go. Handling Undead. Composer Peter Rayburn's beautifully sad soundtrack. Agreed. This score is really strong. Along with Pal Uvek, Roxeth cinematography, bing, he got that, contribute to creating a tragic mood that's hard to let go of after the sad conclusion of the film. This guy gets it. He only gave it 3 out of 4, but that is what everyone else is like. Handling the Undead was glacially slow. No, give it up for Randy Myers. Randy Myers, you have now joined the very exclusive club of MMT approved critics. Guess who will never be on this list? Eric Davis, Brandon Davis, Soups. Name another shill for me, guys. There's lots of them out there. Mama's Geeky's never being on here. Who else? Name a shit. There's so many of them. Not first of all, there's a bunch of problems with being a critic. One, a lot of them have no talent. That's just the truth, right? At the end of the day, I've said this a million times on the stream, it's the reality of the situation. We live in a society where people tell you can do anything. Oh, you're good at everything. This person is so talented. Any comments, hit him with me if you can. I'm up for it. We live in a world now that's like, you can do anything. Well, yeah. But, right, not everybody can do a podcast. Not everybody can do a live stream. Not everybody can be a film critic. I'm not suggesting I'm the end all, okay? I have missed very rarely. But at the end of the day, there's some people that just don't have it. And the reality of the situation, and I know this is mean. Weber's being mean. Oh, Weber's a fucking mean bastard. Too bad. I live in the world of reality. I don't live in the world of make-believe bullshit. You tell yourself what you are. I live in the world where you prove your shit, and ultimately, you look at these critics, a lot of them have zero talent. They don't even have any taste. And then the other thing is they either shill or they're worried about being liked by others. If you in life are worried about being liked by others, you are going to be hamstrung for as long as you choose to go down that path. You need to not give a fucking shit about what people think about your opinions. You go strong, or cliche alert, you go home. You just do these things. But the problem is most people in the space want to go along to get along. They don't want to piss the studios off for whatever reason. The studios don't care about you. Do you think the studios give a shit about some random critic? They don't care. They use the critics. How can I use you to get a quote? The funny thing is Warner Brothers is the best. Down the street, I've had my ups and downs at the studio. I generally love Warner Brothers. I know a lot of you hate Zaslav. I get it, man. But my point is, as a studio that takes chances, look no further than Joker. I don't care if it is Taxi Driver meets the king of comedy. I don't give a shit. The fact that a studio said, take this DC property, I understand a villain either way, and then have this character jam scissors in the eye socket of a dude multiple times or in the throat, wherever the fuck he jammed him. And then at the end of the movie, you're going to have him blow the brains out of the talk show host. What? We're going to do, excuse me, what are we going to do? I mean, of course, I'd be like, let's go for it. But the average studio exec, like, fuck no, we're not you're doing what? You want to stab who? And blow out De Niro's brains? Get the hell out of here, Todd Phillips. Just go. Don't come back. We're going to go with something a little more conservative. I mean, what isn't? That's the point, is that you have a studio who said yes to that. Some of you overlook that like it means nothing. What are you talking about? I know Zaslav wasn't there at the time, but the point is Warner Brothers is badass. I love them generally, but they don't even invite me to their things. Look at Furiosa. Who was like the number one fan of that film? Me. I called it better than Fury Road, but yet Warner Brothers like, well, I don't know if we can have Weber come. Here's the problem. The studios are like, I don't know if Weber should be here because the problem is if he comes out and hates it, he's going to fucking destroy it. But if he loves it, he's going to be the best thing ever. Let's not take our chances. The problem is as we grow, as we continue to go up the ladder, we don't need the approval of the studios. We'll just go ahead. I see him in Burbank. I don't need to be invited to your stupid ass screening on Tuesday night. I don't want to see half these people in the space. I look in there and I go, whoa. It's like imagine just walk into the room. You're like, this isn't a cool group. I don't want to hang out with these people. You know, it's like if you were at a bar and all of the people at the critic screening were like at the bar, you'd be like, I'm going to sit over here by myself because at least I have a chance of getting picked up. If I hang out with that crowd, I'm not getting, I want to be here alone. Shit's good. I'm going to be like going home. Nothing happening tonight. I'm going to sit at the bar by myself. So I don't want to go to these screenings. Here, no, yes, I know. I know we have the folks who love to call me Ace. I'm fine with it because I, of course, am the awards Ace. Are there any other people in the film station you think are worthy of giving attention to? I've mentioned it, Harrison. You need to watch the channel more. There's like 4 people. 4 people total. So don't ask me for more than that. It's all I have. No, truth be told, there's just an alarming lack of talent and also of non-wanting to be a shill. They can't. They want to be liked so hard by the studios. Will you use my quote? Oh my God, look, my quote is on the box. Like, it's a spectacular movie, Empire, or it's actually Variety. Like, that makes your day. Okay, they quoted me for John Wick 4, one of the greatest action movies ever made. Guess how much money I made from that? Let me help everybody. $0. It doesn't mean anything. It's all ego. I don't give a fuck. I've been quoted in things. Doesn't matter. How does that change your life? But for some of these people, like, look, I was quoted. That's my quote right there. Oh my God, look. Just look at what did that get you? Nothing. But look, everybody, I'm going to make this into a t-shirt. Best movie ever. Whatever, man. I don't do it for that shit. I do it. When I said that John Wick 4 is one of the greatest action movies ever, I said it because I believe that to be the case. It's not the Raid 2. Raid 2 is by far the greatest action film ever made. The Raid 2 is one of my favorite films of all time. I mean, Raid's amazing, but Raid 2, holy fuck. You talk about a film. If you have not seen the Raid 2, listen, if this channel ever blows up and we actually start making money, I'm not even kidding you guys this. Listen to me. The money is going right back into a screening room. I'm not kidding you. The money that's made on this channel is going to be invested in a screening room here in Burbank, because I'm not driving far. And it's literally going to be like the new Bev, only here in Burbank. And we're going to show shit like the Raid 2 every Friday night at midnight. And it'll be small, the 50 seats. And you guys come in, tickets will be free. I don't give a shit. It'll literally be about cinema. How many other people do that? No. They want to make their money so they can buy a new house, buy a new car, do all this shit. No. I want to have a screening room where we play the Raid 2. We show Saint Maud, just recent films I love. After Sun, Handling the Undead. We have all these films playing all the time. And then, of course, I'd have some people help program with me. But at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. How many other people can say that? They can't. They don't want to. They take their money and they look at me. I have a bigger house, a bigger car. Don't give a shit about that stuff. I want to build a cinema where we show awesome films. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you guys. It's what it is. It is what it is. So, yes, no, there's nobody else to talk to. Nobody. Zero people else in the space. Xanamotion and Warner Brothers stuck with Horizon 1 and 2 this summer. Box office prospects look bad. They look terrible. Listen, it's tracking at 12 million for the first one. That is the new Kevin Costner Western. I think the problem with that film, we talked about it on Thursday. The issue with that is that the lens that people will see that through is this is Yellowstone. And they will go, why am I going to go to a movie theater where I can just watch Yellowstone at home? Right. And plus whatever the other one is with Harrison Ford, is that 1921, whatever the name of that show is. They can just say, that's the thing. So I think what you're noticing, and this is what alarms me, I think the most, is that the films that are doing well are big, right? The smaller films are not doing as well. Oppenheimer, obviously, that's a big, small film, right? It's not a traditional blockbuster, obviously, but it's Nolan, so it's an event film. But when you look at the films that I truly love watching in a movie theater, listen, look no further. Here it comes again. If Sully's on the stream, guess what? We're going to talk about it again. Asphalt City. Oh, my God. I'm so glad I saw that 2 times in theaters. But the typical person says that's not a movie I want to see at a movie theater. And that's where we have to kind of get that audience that was on the fence before. Listen, before COVID, I think those films worked well. What happened is that the audience that used to go to those kind of films, the smaller dramas, you look at a platformed film like Parasite, sold out every single screening in New York City at whatever it was, right? It's playing there. Every single screening was sold out because Parasite, one of the best films, obviously, the past decade. What a film. But when you look at that whole series of events from back in 18, 19, 20, before COVID, and obviously before that, you would get those big platforms. You'd get like 150,000 from 2 screens. You're not seeing that anymore because the crowd that goes to movies that feel like they should be at home is staying at home. And we have to get that crowd that's at home that wants to watch some of these films to go back to the theaters. And I've talked about it a million times. The easiest way, the first step, I'm not saying it'll guarantee this, you have to slap a 45, 60-day window on these films. You cannot have it debut in theaters and then put it at home on digital in 17 days. Asphalt City was at home in 17 days. Now, listen, Asphalt City was not a big hit. And I know for those of you joining us, welcome to what we do here. We talk about films like Asphalt City versus the latest Star Wars show. It's what we do, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm never going to do that shit. Never going to talk about what does Superman's cape look like in the new screen cap from the movie. What? There's like a whole 30-minute stream on that. I'm like, I'd rather bash my head with a brick for an hour than sit through a guy going, if you notice right there, the crease is really nice. Man, what the fuck are we doing? I don't want to do that. I want to talk about things. I want to talk about ideas. I want to talk about films. I want to talk about the cape of Superman. Look at his outfit. It's so amazing. By the way, tonight's kit is flamingo. I try to, for those of you who've never watched the show, listen, every single time you come here, I'm going to have a different football kit on, soccer jersey, those of you here in the States, because I love them. They help me stay in shape because I loved it. I like how they make me feel. So I'm not going to lie to you. I spend a lot of money on football kits, so I'm going to show them off here. This is from Argentina. And if Salem's watching tonight, I know I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. This is for you because I saw it and I go, this is it. Look at it. It's like midnight and it's dark. It looks Batman-y. It's really good. We'll never see A's. No, never. It's never going to happen, man. You couldn't pay me to wear a Netflix. Hold on, everybody. For those who've never, here it comes. The old school viewers, get ready, and then we're about ready done. Here it comes. Oh, shit. This goes way back, guys. This goes back to the beginning, the inception of the show. One of the best streams I ever did. You want to see someone who lost their shit over a film in the worst possible way? It is TheGrayMan. For those of you who have not watched this atrocity put to film, this is one of the most chaotically edited shit show films I've ever had the great displeasure of sitting through. And here's where it all started to go south for Netflix and me. They invited me to the TheGrayMan premiere. Now, let me just tell the full story for those of you who never heard it. This is really good. This is Dusty. I got to clean up. You got to clean him up there. I mean, he's such a handsome man, Ryan Gosling, isn't he? Not good in this film, by the way. They're making a TheGrayMan too. So they they invited me to the premiere, and I went, and it started bad right off the bat. They have two lines, right? One line for you get to go out and have free drinks, and the other line for you're going to walk straight into the theater and watch on a giant screen everybody outside having a good time drinking at the Gray Man premiere, but you can't hang out there. You're going to be inside watching people have fun outside. So once that happened, I was already like, okay, Netflix, if that's how you're going to do it, all good. But because I'm the bigger man and because I'm always objective, I still said when this film starts, I'm not going to hold off and hold back and say they're terrible for putting me inside versus outside at the free bar. Gore might, but I'm not. Whenever I can get a Gore shot in, I'll do it. I want Gore to be healthy, everybody. Trust me. I told him to go to the gym. I hope he is. Here we go. So the movie starts. It ends. No joke. Go look at my tweets. I didn't get 5 feet off of the suddenly being rolled up purple, whatever carpet it was that night, saying, holy shit, this film is the biggest turd ever made. And Netflix is like, oh my God. He just came to the event and can't even get 5 feet out of the theater without saying this film sucks donkey balls. And it's so terrible. And at that point, it was the beginning of the end. So it's all worked out for me because I don't want to support cinematic shit like The Gray Man and the Popcorn Box from, 2 years ago now. I don't want to support this shit, and it makes it easier to do when they don't care about theatrical. This film is one of the worst edited films I've ever seen, and someone cut this and send it to the Russo brothers, especially the loudmouth one. Tell him that this makes everything that they did before completely null and void. As much as I adore Endgame and think it is maybe the perfect conclusion to 10 years of MCU, I love Endgame. My God, the emotional highs. I was crying. I'm not kidding you. I think I was the night I saw it at Disney. Early. I got to see it early and loved it. This film negates everything you ever did. The Gray Man is one of the worst directed films I have ever in my life seen. And the fact that whichever one of those Russo brothers has the loudmouth, whoever, this is why I don't get invited to events too. The fact that he thinks that this is quality filmmaking negates any future opinion he has about anything. Was that strong enough for everybody? Was that? Welcome to the channel. That shit happens on a regular basis. All right, we're just about done. Any comments? Any super chats gone, girl? Otherwise, we're out of here. It's an hour. You guys get an hour. I don't go 7 hours. That shit costs money, and we're not making enough money here. No, it's fine. I don't care. I just like doing what I just did. It's literally like a stand-up act that sometimes works, but most times bombs. So just be advised going forward. Let's see if there's anything else going on here tonight. I think we're good to go. Really fun. I enjoy doing the Twitter. Brings more people in, and you get a chance to see what we do here. I think what we do is different, obviously. I think what we do is fearless, clearly. I think what we do is non-shilly. You can see that readily apparent. All of these things are 100% provable, and this is my another thing I forgot to leave out. My X/Pearl. As you move it, you get the different looks there. Can't wait for Maxine, guys. That stream is going to be epic. The night that they allow me to see that movie, and at one point they said maybe I get to see it early, but A24 doesn't really appreciate what I do because I said Beau is Afraid is the worst film ever made, which turned into a big thing. Oh, Weber's the worst person. But listen, I'll make you a deal, A24. If I love Maxine, I'm going to come out of it and say it's the best film ever made. I love this film. Perfect 80s slasher. Come on. The Night Stalker. I'm going to come out of that film and rave about it. So A24, you need to pick a side. hey, let's just do it. Let's just wrap it like this. It's Tom Cruise, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. You need to pick a side. Oh, wait, that was the other guy. Fuck. That movie was totally dissed. That was a good action film. Really liked Dead Reckoning Part 1 / no longer called that, whatever they retitled it. It's now whenever we get the second one. God bless you all. It's been a wonderful time tonight. Thanks for being here. Next time we're up is going to be probably Thursday night for Inside Out 2. No, I'm not driving down to the Grove like all of the other critics in LA. I get to see the movie a day early. I get to go to the Grove and see Inside Out and send a tweet. Look at my tweet. My tweet said this movie's amazing. It's so funny. It's the perfect follow-up. Look, I'm on the poster. I mean, that's not, we're not doing that shit. But let those people do it. They'll never catch up to what we're doing here. They'll forever be unknowable. I'm done, man. Fucking done. That's it. Peace out. Live from LA. I'm done. See you Thursday night for Inside Out 2. Goodbye.